Hey, Tom.
Hello, everybody.
Over to you.
Can you hear me? It's great to be at the Disability Innovation Summit. Thank you. And the title of my presentation is The Ghosting Machine, Putting Disabled People Back in the Driving Seat. And that title is taken from Gilbert Ryle's critique of René Descartes. And if you remember, René Descartes said there was a sort of dualism between the mind and the body. And so when Gilbert Ryle was talking about the ghost in the machine, he meant the mind in the body. But I don't mean it like that. I mean, I'm claiming that assistive technology is a machine. So when I think of getting my wheelchair fitted or my orthotics fitted, there are parameters and rules and recommendations based, I hope, on science, and I follow those. Your measurements are taken, in other words, but I'm not sure your wishes are always followed. Or if they're impossible, if you're asking for the pipe dream, if you like, I'm not sure the constraints on what you want are always explained. And I think there's a danger of seeing assistive technology as a technical question. It is obviously a technical issue, but it's not just a technical question. Of course, in the current era, we can fix almost anything. It may be very expensive. It may go wrong very easily. It may be hard to maintain, but we do have the technology. And I myself have had that. I have a Bluetooth controlled wheelchair with a electric propulsion. It's gone wrong many times. Lots of different things have gone wrong with it. And I've been left high and dry. And it costs, this wheelchair propulsion technology costs 10 times that which on the street outside in terms of e-scooters or e-bikes are accessible to everybody. So disabled people are reliant on technology that goes wrong, and that, in my case at least, costs 10 times what mainstream technology costs. And I may be thinking particularly in terms of my experience in London, a very high income country experience. But I think it's relevant to any technology and all aids and adaptations. And what I'm saying is, if you don't listen to the person, you run into a problem. And I want to give you an example. We did research in schools, and we looked at many technology solutions for children, young people in schools. And I'm thinking of a person, a young child who had problems with their handwriting. They couldn't write clearly. Solution, we'll give him a laptop. But he didn't want the laptop. And why didn't he want the laptop? Because in that instance, it separated him from his friends. His friends, his social environment was more important than solving the technical problem of his handwriting. And I could show you all of the excitement about exoskeletons and what is possible and how far robotics and those sorts of cutting edge of assistive technology gets very excited. I've written a commentary on it because is it going to be available for everybody? Is it going to be accessible and able to go into all spaces? Is it going to be cheap and repairable enough really to empower somebody? And I'm not sure it will. So the AT machine, if you like, requires us disabled people to say what we need and what works for us. And I think a relationship between the professional engineer or OT or PT and the disabled person is required. And the relationship is everything. Let me tell you about two OTs that I had when I was paralyzed in hospital. And one of them was a young OT, and he was new to the profession. And he said, my job is to empower you. So what you want, I will try and help you achieve. That was great. That was what I wanted as a newly disabled, newly paralyzed person. The other OT had a look at me transferring, this is a day or two before I left the hospital, transferring to the bath using a transfer board. And she said to me, I can't allow you to do that. And it made me so cross because I thought, you're not going to live with me. How can you stop me doing that? I will do what I want. And therefore, your job is to say to me, let us work together to make you safe and to prevent the accidents that can occur if you do not use this assistive technology correctly. So AT, assistive technology, can be brilliant, can be an empowering, life-changing thing, but it can also be an expensive disaster. Remember how much AT is unused. Loads and loads of AT is not appropriate, does not solve the problem, and it's never used, wherever we're talking about. So we have to think about that social and cultural context. Let's think about the child who, while they had a technical solution, did not have a social and cultural solution because that social cultural context was not solved. Simple. We know simple is often best. We've seen motivations, wonderful wheelchairs adapted to the environments in which they're used. We know about the Jaipur foot, which is more available, more accessible in a low-income setting. And so it's no good having the best technology in the world if you have a potholed street outside and no pavement. We need to have a technology suitable for our setting. And I think we need to recognize that disabled people are the clients, but they are also the people who solve some of the problems. For example, when I was first paralyzed, my friend Jazz explained to me how to use a car. Now, I passed my test, I was years past that, but she explained to me how a wheelchair user transferred to the front seat, the passenger seat, strapped themselves in, bent over, took one wheel off their ultralight wheelchair, put it in the back, took the other wheel off their ultralight wheelchair, put it in the back, took the chassis over their head and put it in the back, then shut the door, undid the seatbelt, moved into the steering, the driver's seat, and took control from there. And when they got to where they wanted to go, they reversed the process. No OT explained me that. No physiotherapist explained me that. Another disabled person explained me that. Just as disabled people were the ones who told us how to use our wheelchairs, because we have ways of doing things. We understand what we have to live with. And often we innovate solutions to the problems we face. So the ghost of the machine, we must put disabled people in as not just the clients, but also the solvers of some of the problems. And above all, access to assistive technology is the key. We can talk about better technology all we like, but if we don't get that to the people who need it at a cost that's affordable, at a prototype that is easily maintained and doesn't go wrong, then we're wasting everybody's time and everybody's money. And that's everyone's problem, both in low middle income settings and also in high income settings. Thank you very much. Goodbye.